The absolute truth hasn't been discovered yet. The importance we give to scientific knowledge and all of their findings is more relevant than any kind of information that we can find within this given scope. We rank science as the superior knowledge because of its key characteristics, and as a result, we relegate other knowledge that science does not find verifiable. This generates a dispute between science and pseudoscience, where even though none of them possess absolute truth. The first one is more accurate as it tries to explain reality within a critical point of view in its never-ending task to completely comprehend what surrounds us. Science proposes a variable number of theories which can be perfectly debated after a period of time or in some cases be accepted, deepened and finally established inside a paradigm as a way to reach that which we refer to as an absolute truth. Now, even though I do consider the use of the scientific method vital to the gather and discovering of new knowledge, we can also observe that it completely ignores how much humans constantly changes their minds. We are not machines and we're far away too complex to be considered as something constant. That simply maintains that method away from getting absolute truth, owing to the fact in his process to gather new knowledge, it ends up filtering out vital information, which ironically contradicts what science is all about in the first place. One clear example of that happened in the year 2012 with the Higgs boson, or how some media outlets refer to as the Gotham particle. Summarizing, in the year 2013, scientists confirmed the existence of the Higgs particle, which plays an important role in the creation of elementary particles that are the ones that the universe is composed of. In other words, they discovered that the other particle friction with the Higgs fields and that generates their masses. This theory, originally proposed all the way back as 1964 by Peter Higgs, but back then he could not confirm the existence of the Higgs particle. That theory was ignored for almost 50 years, and many new studies that disregarded the Higgs field existence were conducted and taken as truth. Only in the 2013, scientists were able to confirm the reality of the sought-out particle, which proved Peter Higgs' theory as correct, and that caused many physicists around the world to panic. All of a sudden, many studies carried out in the last 50 years were wrongly focused. That opened up another fascinating debate that uses the following proposition. If the disregarding of the Higgs boson, a theory believed to be wrong, caused scientists to create mistaken knowledge, then how many more wrongly ignored data can ultimately change everything that we know about our world?
Great Scott!
That's why we can't really even classify scientific knowledge as absolute truths. In my opinion, scientific methods, even though one of the most reliable techniques to gather new knowledge, can't be said to be flawless. It isn't much a fault of the method in it of itself, but more the fault of us humans, because we tend to look only what we really want to see, while ignoring all other data that seems useless to us or our studies. But in the end, as demonstrated by the Higgs theory case, ignoring info can really compromise our understanding of the world. That problem really is that we try to find and not discover. In conclusion, I believe that something as an absolute truth is unattainable by scientific ways, because we humans are ever changing and our knowledge is always expanding. We now have more knowledge than the one we possessed 100 years ago, yet we know very little for what we'll know in other 100 years in future. That's why I believe absolute truth doesn't exist. And I also believe that when you start to learn more and more, that's when you reach the conclusion that there is so much information out there for us to gather it all. Probably we will get closer to absolute knowledge and truths in the distant future, but for the time being, there are so many things we don't know, and we need to have an open mind to accept that many things we see unchangeable knowledge can be mistaken, as the Higgs theory demonstrated us back in the 2013.